And I read that you were a whistleblower in the Texas Army National Guard. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, if you recall, there was this thing called COVID, which when I went to medical school, COVID, coronavirus, was actually the common cold. That's what it is. But when you put a gain of function on it, it becomes a bioweapon. Well, we
Hmm.
know these things now. Hindsight's 2020. But as the guy that was charged with taking care of the troops on Operation Lone Star on our border, Texas border, my job was the task force surgeon. I had other jobs. I wore a lot of hats, but that job was important because I had to take care of them so that the mission could take place. I mean, it's mission focused always, but you take care of your troops, right? You make sure that they're physically fit. You make sure that they don't get heat casualties. I mean, it's hot down there. All the things that happen. You make sure they don't have to wear masks every day when they go out in 110 degrees heat index. You know, you have to go and stand in the command and say no, they're not going to wear masks because they're going to fall out there and they're going to die from heat stroke. I don't want that. And I didn't have a single soldier that was put in the hospital for heat stroke. I mean, I took care of them. I kept them cool. I bet medics going around with ice. I mean, it's a hard job. They're doing eight to 12 hour shifts, 24/7, 365 days. There's no breaks. And so we managed all the way from Brownsville all the way to Eagle Pass, and then we had troops all the way out to then we moved on to El Paso, Big Bend. So it was a long 1,254 miles of work, and we had very few troops to do it. We started with 600, we went to 10,000, but during that time, that's when the COVID thing happened. And so they said, the military said, Department of Defense and Texas Military Department enforced it and said they must take the shots. Now, I looked at the shots and said, look, here's the data. They're safe. They're young. I can give them some ivermectin. I can give them some hydroxychloroquine. They'll do fine. So I need to give them informed consents because those shots are experimental. And they said, no, you can't do that. You got to quit doing informed consents because nobody's taking them. So out of 3,000 troops, I think about 7, maybe 10 people took them, but they opted to. But the Department of Defense was not happy. Texas Military Department was not happy with me. They sent a general down. He told me, you got to quit doing them. I said, sir, that's an unlawful order. I got fired. So I got fired from my job, not kicked out of the military, but just fired from that job. And at that point, I became a whistleblower. I testified in a federal court case. You know, a bunch of SEALs didn't want to take it. And I testified for them that, you know, they have the right to have a religious exemption if they don't believe that, you know, products in there that are made up of human, you know, unfortunately, aborted
Mhm.
fetuses, that's what was in there. It's ugly. And so when they wanted not to take it, then I stood up and said, no, they won't take it. And their shots aren't safe. They're not effective. And we could do it other ways. Lesser intrusive means is what's that called in the court. And so that ended up being a fight. So if you're still in the military and you're going up against the DOD, that's the largest organization, military organization in the world, your life becomes miserable. So I went ahead and retired in 2022. I got out